Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm Chuck Shoremakers, the owner of Action Coach Dallas, where we are helping business owners build and grow their businesses to ultimately improve their lives. Today, we have Alex Fletcher with not the Shaken and Stirred Hospitality. He's the owner of Shaken and Stirred Hospitality as our guest. So thanks for being on today, Alex. How are you?
Yeah, great, man. If you want to put a the in front of there, that's cool with
Okay.
me too.
Hey, it's the Shaken and Stirred Hospitality. Cool. So today we're going to be talking about his business, his journey in business ownership, some of the challenges he's
Sure.
seen, best practices, all the good stuff. And if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, do all those things so that you get notifications when we get more conversations like this. So you can continue to get a lot of the juicy learning and interesting stories. And so, Alex, without further ado, maybe could you just um, give us an introduction to your company and the challenges that you solve?
Sure, no problem. Um, like you said, I'm Alex Fletcher. I'm a Dallas-based resident, been here most of my life. Been in the hospitality sector for about 25 years and just recently started a hospitality company called Shaken and Stirred Hospitality. It's our second year in business. We're a creative hospitality consulting company. We find pretty much the in between of the day to day that people are having don't really see. And we also help bridge the gaps between operations and creatives, and help bring concepts to life and make them actually function in a way that makes sense financially and operationally and creatively. Really.
Nice. Cool. Are you saying creatives are not always seeing things the same way as operations people?
I'm gonna say the opposite way. The operations people don't see it like the creatives. No,
Gotcha.
I'm kidding.
Gotcha.
No, it's very similar languages that kind of always flow in parallel, but they have a hard time intersecting sometimes. So trying to bridge those gaps is kind of where I've specialized.
Nice. Yeah, we've worked with some of the creative type businesses, so we've seen some similar challenges. So good for you.
Thanks.
So let's move on to what makes your business, or a little bit about what makes your business so special. How and why did you start this business?
Well, like I said, I've been a hospitality professional for a long time. I've done everything from be a cocktail waiter to a bar back to head of operations to GM, done the whole gamut, right? Through those years, I collected a lot of knowledge just from being the creative person that was writing a lot of the menus, but also running a lot of the operations at the same time. I worked for smaller companies that didn't have kind of the bandwidth or the financial output to be able to afford like a whole financial department, a whole creative department, and all those things. So I got thrust in the middle of it. Trial by fire, I learned a lot about finance, operations, creative, and just everything in between. And then when my last national job that I had, we had I was a national beverage director for a hospitality company, and then we were doing all kinds of projects all over the country, a lot of developers, a lot of architects, a lot of blueprints, a lot of all these things. And the biggest challenges that I always saw were creative design, implementation, and then what you actually get. Prime example would be like we had a bar built out and it was in the later stages of the design process when I came into the picture. And when I went to go, you know, review the bar after it had been built out, I looked and I was like, there's no frozen drink machines. Where are they? We mismeasured and we couldn't fit them in there. I was like, well, cool, I've already bought them and it's part of our menu and all of this. You can't just cut that out. So I really got some in between learning there. And then talking with a lot of financial departments, especially with larger companies. I've done a lot of hospitality work for major corporations that have a hospitality sector to kind of like an amenity, right? They want to build something special and they want something that is memorable to their employees. This is everything that they say kind of on paper until like the financial part of it comes in. And then it's let's chop everything to value engineer it to what it could have been. So once my position was dissolved in that company, I came up with the solution of since I've gathered all of this knowledge and really have been able to implement it in the field, I might as well just try to open my own hospitality company. So that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm working on, and that's what I've been doing.
All right, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of you're hitting on some of the challenges, of course, with the restaurant industry, or really the like you said, hospitality industry, but plenty of things out there. I'm sure you can help them with. So if I'm in the audience, how do I know if I'm a good fit for your product or service? So who does your business serve, kind of primarily?
Sure. I like to focus on newer restaurants that are people that are coming into the industry and then really need some guidance on how this works because, you can talk to an entire accounting team of a major telecommunications network, for example, and they can't talk food and beverage to save their lives. Just the math is very foreign to them. The expired goods, things of this nature, and just how the whole systems flow. So I found success in helping people that have come from different fields. They're like, I'm gonna open a bar and I'm gonna open a restaurant. It's like, hell yeah, good for you, man. Let's go. But when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, they really need just a solid operation guideline to work off of, and more than anything, really need to understand why that happens. Because you can show the people numbers all day, and if they don't believe you, they don't believe you until it happens. So that's kind of my main focus right now. I also do quite a bit of sustainability education and just public speaking quite a bit. And then my past is a lot of mixology, so I do a ton of cocktail menus just because I love doing
All right, a couple cocktails never hurt, hopefully. So cool. Well, what would you say makes your business unique? Why do your customers or clients, why do they choose you?
Well, it's really understanding both sides of the field and being able, since I'm kind of hands off on a lot of things, I get an outside point of view on a lot of problems that people see or are having. When you have a business, especially a company that you care about, you take things extremely personally, which you should, you really should. But the fault that comes in line too is sometimes you don't want to admit you're wrong. And I've found so many companies that will just fight tooth and nail to prove that they're right versus making the right decision. So having an outside voice that's had plenty of knowledge in the background and actually lived through the experiences and has a soft, gentle touch and is not forcing anything down your throat is really why I do this.
Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, some people may have the experience, some people may have some of the soft touch, but maybe they don't have both, and maybe even the breadth, of course, of experience that you have. So good stuff. I'm sure that translates into value. So, what about from a marketing perspective? A lot of businesses can have a struggle point, that being marketing. And so, what has been your number one marketing strategy that's brought you the most business?
Education helps a lot. Going out and speaking really does. It's something I thoroughly enjoy and I'm passionate about. So anytime I get a chance to speak, is like especially speaking with yourself or some people that need help. I've taught a lot of few classes at like UNT and stuff like that as a guest
Hmm.
speaker. There's a lot to be said about just consistency and following through. That speaks volumes to clients. They all speak, they all talk to each other. You're not working in a silo like whoever you think. So being true to your word and actually delivering a product that is people find value in, and then being just a likable, enjoyable person too, and enjoying the clients and meeting them and understanding them. That in spades will pay back. Um, it's tough, especially because there's so many marketing companies out there and there's so many different ways to market that yes, I do my Google ads and yes, I've done some Facebook ads, but like when I'm on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, I'm not looking for a hospitality company to come through and be like, I can fix all your problems. It really needs to be targeted. Go to networking events. They help a ton as well. Just talk to people and do face-to-face contact. Um, a good example of this would be I had a nephew that was having the hardest time getting a job. He's got a master's in, I think it was AI ethics. I mean, just crazy smart kid.
Interesting.
And he came up to me and he was like, I can't find a job. I don't know what's going on. I just can't find a job. I'm having the hardest time. And really what it came down to is I don't think he was going out and talking or and once he got him out the door and built some confidence and had him shake some hands and stuff, he found a job and it was easy.
Mhm.
And that's kind of goes hand in hand with working for yourself is you're trying to find a job as you're working for yourself or starting your hospitality company. You have to go find it. They won't just find you all the time.
Mhm. Yeah, I think a lot of people end up using some of the social strategies. I don't mean the social media strategies, but the social strategies like speaking and networking, those kinds of strategies. Because, like you said, small business wise, typically, you're shaking hands with the decision makers, right?
Yeah.
So you got to go out there and meet them, and if you do, then hey, you can maybe help them see how they would benefit from having you on their team. So,
And and don't take no for an answer.
all
You know,
right, tell me more about that.
how many sales calls do you get a day, right? Or how many salesmen do you meet a day? Like, I don't consider myself a salesman in any form or fashion. I try to
Mhm.
build a relationship, and this is something that, you know, from being from the bar background that I've really enjoyed is meeting and talking to people from start to finish. I joke that some of my bar regulars probably paid all my college degrees through the years.
Mhm.
I might have hurt them later in life, but at least they took care of me. Uh, but not being forceful, but not knowing that your product is good, knowing that you have something that people value, and then just letting them see that in a way that is not aggressive, but also not salesman. So I don't know. That's a little jumbled, I know, and it's kind of the art of conversation is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, I would say, for example, if you have a product, call it water, and someone's dying of thirst, you probably wouldn't take no for an answer. It's like, look,
Right.
I've got your water. You need you
Yeah.
need water. Let me get you the water, right? So yeah, I think like you're saying, if you know your product is good, you have the confidence and it's there, you know that there's value, then you wouldn't take no for an answer, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't make sense.
I mean, I look at it is if someone says no to me, it's because I didn't do my job for them understanding what I do.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, if it's valuable, then it must just be that they don't understand the value or haven't explained it well enough or something to that effect,
Right.
right? So, yeah, good stuff. I like that. What else do we have? So, as you look back on your journey, um, obviously a couple years in this business, and you've had a lot of other years of experience in the hospitality industry. What has been the most memorable or hardest challenge that you've had, and how did you overcome it?
Do you want me to speak from starting my own business or do you want to speak from a hospitality aspect?
Let's go with the business.
Okay. Uh, you know, when you get the idea to do something like this, and I was put into a situation where it was like do this or figure it out. And I didn't really have a lot of time to plan my growth strategies and stuff like that. And I actually didn't have a lot of time to take my own advice, what I gave a lot of people. And I just went fast and furious and threw spaghetti at the wall and tried to make any dollar I could doing whatever I could. Don't do that. Uh, value your time. Um, and understand that your growth is it will come if you make steps forward. The hardest thing that I've had to overcome is trying to recorrect my growth strategy, honestly, because and side note, don't get married and start a business in the same year. That's rule number one that's going on my gravestone. No, we got married last year and it was like towards the tail end of my first year in business and it was tough. All of it was tough. It was stressful. I was running food festivals in two different cities while trying to cater to the downtown Dallas incorporated staff while consulting for two businesses while and at the end of it, I made it through it, but I don't think it was worth it. Not every dollar is earned the same.
I like that. Yeah, the lots of change there, right? I mean, it takes energy to make change, to withstand change. So you changed. your life greatly,
Yep.
and changed. You were changing your business, of course. You're starting the business. You're changing your professional life, and then you had different clients. You had lots of change, lots of energy output. Like you said, maybe it wasn't quite worth doing it all at the same time. Yeah. So focus is key. Can't do everything all at
Yes.
once. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Look at things as a bird's eye point of view and actually understand where you're going before you start taking your steps.
Yes, I believe it is. Okay, I can't think of the guy's name. He's well known, but start with the end in mind, as he says, right? So,
Yep.
what about as an employer? What have been some of your biggest learnings as an employer in business?
I would say the biggest learnings is, especially while starting off my company small, is really picking what you're going to need exactly. Because the end of the end goal is to have all your friends that are all talented, that all are working together and all jiving and being cohesive, and the whole thing just blends and melds, and you're doing awesome. But being very selective and knowing your key players and really valuing those players from the beginning is super important. Um, Investing in them just as much as you're investing in yourself, I think is also very, very important. I've always been under the umbrella that the more that I can, all, all tides rise all ships, right? Rising tides rise all ships. So trying to make sure that you're all on the same path, you're all going towards the same direction, and watch for your friction points. Understand your employees' personalities enough to know where their sensitivities lie, and being able to work with them and opposed against them. So,
Hmm. Yeah. The of course, as you get bigger and you have more team, you said, "Oh, invest in your team as much as you invest in yourself," right?
yeah,
When you start to have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, that's a lot of they're going to have a lot more productivity or lack of productivity than you will as an individual. So, like you said, if you're not investing in them, then chances are you're losing out on a lot of revenue, productivity, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with 40 people that are not getting the training, even if you're trained really well.
that's the biggest thing. Like if you're the people directly below you don't understand everything that you do, then the people below them don't understand what they know. And the people under them don't understand that. And it's just a domino effect. It takes really divulging all of your secrets and trades and trust into those people to hopefully that they will carry that same message. I've known employers in the past that have held things back,
Mm-hmm.
trade secrets, if you will, which if it's an IP or something or a technical aspect, totally understand. Like it's if a patent, got it.
Mm-hmm.
But wealth and knowledge is something else. It's just like we need to learn from our superiors' experience, and if we don't, then we're going to experience it, and then we're going to have to learn from it, and that's just not efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, the I think the common sentiment people sometimes say is, yeah, but training my team is expensive, and of course the common response is yes, but if they don't get trained and they stick around, it's more expensive,
Yep.
right? So yeah, so always a good use of time, effort, and maybe some resources. Train that team can get a lot more output.
Yes.
Let's see. Next question I got for you. What would you do different? So you're not too crazy far into the business, but it's been a couple of years. I think you may have already mentioned it about getting married while starting your business, but maybe I don't know if it's that or something else. What would you do
Sure.
different if you started over today?
If I started over today, I would have rewrote everything to make it more focused from the beginning. That's really the outlier to all of it. And I would have really invested more in help in areas that I'm not an expert in sometimes, or that I'm too just busy to do. Like having a support structure of things that you can offload is. I'm just now learning the value of them to myself, even though I use them millions of years in different aspects and ratios. When it comes to yourself and you're like, oh my God, this is my income. What am I going to do? Like it's my dollars, it's my cents. Do I want to pay this person to do that? Yes, you do. Pay your accountants, pay the people that will keep you going so you can actually take the time to focus on the things that you need to, which is growing the business. I didn't do that at first, and I'm just now recovering from it to where I can have enough time to focus on what everything that I need to do. I've been a goal list, a million long, but in between each one of those is something little that I don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, being able to make sure your time is focused, you're working on the stuff that's most valuable,
Yep.
and having the resources to hand it off to, or the trained professionals. You mentioned accountants, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, like that. Let's see. So what's you've come from where you've come from, and you are where you are. What's next? What's the next goal or the next milestone you're aiming for?
Next milestone is I mean, I'm concepting three different things right now that hopefully I will get one of them to land in a few and get a few brick and mortars kind of going. Uh, there's a few ideas that I've had about hospitality that I think are just an open area that we need to have in our industry. With Gen Z's movement of people not drinking and, just people our ages not drinking and stuff, the hospitality sector is kind of freaking out. Um, our entire business model is built on the profit of alcohol, right? Uh, and those profits aren't going to be there the same they were, and they're not there the same they were now. So, trying to redefine that sector of like what an establishment is without just relying on the sales of alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still a third place, somewhere a safe place that people can go and they can congregate and they can hang out and they can have all these same experiences with the sexy vibes and um the activities and the programming and all that stuff, but just removing one of those elements and how do we financially kind of get back to where we needed to be, removing that sector of it. Uh, I've been racking my head around it for about 6, 7 months, and I see some really great opportunities there and some ideas, and I'm trying to work with some creative people that I trust within my industry to kind of help bridge that gap and build something cool and something
Mm-hmm.
redefining, really. Um, and I'm halfway through a book that I'm trying to get finished too, and my goal is to get that done by the end of the year.
Nice, good stuff. Good books are good. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but so yeah, you're saying, hey, look, market's changing. The newer folks are maybe not desiring of the alcoholic drinks as much. So guess what? You got to cater to the market. That means you got to do something different. So what are you going to do? Good question. Different options out there, but those are things you're pursuing and looking to help these restaurants and
Yep.
other folks solve. So good deal. And what about before we get into kind of our last question? What if people want to contact you, they want to get in touch? How do they reach out? How do they find you?
Sure. If you Google Shaken and Stirred on Google, it'll pop up right first one. Instagram also Shaken and Stirred Hospitality, and LinkedIn, of course. Phone number and website, email, all goes there. The phone still goes directly to my cell phone, so for now, you'll be talking to me. But for sure, please reach out and take a look. I have blog posts that are published once a month, and there is a few rallies and seminars that I'm hosting that are all posted online as well.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds fun. And so, last question: any special offers you'd like to offer any listeners?
Sure. For the summer months, we're going to be doing free consultations. That's pretty much 15, 20 minutes just to come talk. Uh, uh, and it'd be longer than 15, 20 minutes, of course, but just to see if we're a correct good fit or if there's anywhere that I can help you or just to meet some people is perfectly fine with me. The bigger the network, the more people we know, the more education we can pass around, the better all of our industries go. So reach out anytime. I'd love to talk to anybody.
Awesome. Good stuff. Free consultation, or short chats, whatever you want to call them, for the
Yeah,
summer. Good deal. Good deal. Good. So hopefully folks can take advantage of that. And so yeah, Alex, thanks so much for being on, and
of course.
appreciate that the input and some of the details and sharing trials and tribulations. Don't forget, don't get married and start a business at the same time. But yeah, sure, some other.
And don't tell my wife I said that.
Don't worry, this video won't be aired. Just kidding. Yeah. So yeah, thanks so much, Alex,
Yeah, of course.
and we'll hopefully get some good learning from everyone that watched. And make sure you guys have subscribed if you haven't already. And thanks again.